The Supreme Court kicking off a new term today, already packed with some controversial cases we've been previewing here on this program. Here, the High Court was going to hear cases on gun rights, on abortion, on religious liberty, school choice, and the death penalty.
But the Supreme Court reportedly still has a lot of slots to fill for the session. So what else can we expect to see? Let's welcome back in our panelists, Tom Borelli, Amy Tarkanian, and Dino Scaros. Taking center stage is the fight right now over abortion. The court's going to hear a case challenging a law in Mississippi that bans abortion at 15 weeks. It's the first case directly challenging Roe v. Wade. Amy, what are you looking out for in this case specifically?
Well, it's going to be interesting because last time the Supreme Court met in person was March of 2020, and it actually dealt with hearing the Louisiana abortion case where you had Justice Roberts actually vote against it with the more liberal-leaning justices. He also did that with the Texas law recently, about a year later when they heard that case. So he is now no longer the deciding factor. So now that we have 6 more conservative-leaning justices, this will definitely be interesting. Do I believe that Roe v. Wade is going to be no longer? I do not believe that that's the case. But I think it's very important that we allow the states to take this up and that we do not allow the Supreme Court to make this a federal issue.
Yeah, that one that Dino, the one that Amy was referencing, the one out of I believe an appeals court there in New Orleans, was about a 6-week heartbeat bill, essentially. This one is a little different because it goes to 15 weeks, where Mississippi wants to ban abortions at 15 weeks. And then that's the question that everyone wants to know, what Amy hit at the end, is does Roe v. Wade, is this going to set some precedent for Roe v. Wade? Does this overturn this? Does it just set a different precedent for abortions in terms of a timeline of when a woman could have one or not?
Well, Sean, we really don't know because Roe v. Wade, simply put, is bad law. And when I say bad law, I don't mean because it allows abortions. I'm not taking a personal side on this. But Roe v. Wade is just a very, very bad, clumsy way to justify abortion. And at some point, it will be overturned. It may not be now, it may be in the future, but it is bad law to begin with. The problem here is not enough people trust the scientific community, and for good reason, because the question is, when does life really begin? I mean, you know, a baby that is born, if that baby is killed by someone, that's murder. Why is it not murder in the fetus? The answer to that is, when does life begin? And unfortunately, because just about everything in the world is politicized, people don't trust doctors and scientists anymore to give us an answer that is not politically tainted.
You know, of course, we've seen a lot of people express their concerns with trusting the scientist at this point. But here's just a look at how people are viewing the Supreme Court at this point. Again, a non-political court is what it's supposed to be, but it's plummeting to its lowest point ever. Gallup reporting just 40% of those polled approve of the job the justices are doing right now. Of course, they were most recently out of session, but you followed the trends there, Tom Borelli. What do you think plays into that rating, the lack of approval, when it comes to the SCOTUS justices?
And I think it's all about the news. It's all about the news coverage of the Supreme Court and the intensity around some of these decisions. And the first one we're discussing is the abortion case. And let's face it, this is going to be highly politicized. It's going to be used by, Democrat activists to rally their troops next year for the 2022 elections. This is what they're going to do. These are huge cases, and the media is going to be covering it, and it's going to be filtered in the United States, where both sides of the political debate are going to be worrying about this. So the more in the news, the more these justices are going to be taking decisions that are going to be popular and unpopular. And you have to go back to actually Chief Justice Roberts. Don't forget, he let Obamacare go through. In fact, the word on the street is, news reports, he switched his vote. So you can't have Supreme Court justices holding up their finger to the political winds and making decisions. That's not their job.
Yeah, just final thoughts, Amy Tarkanian. You know, the one thing we're forgetting about too is Justice Sotomayor is essentially not taking up what teachers wanted in New York City, which was to get rid of that ban, or rather the mandate for vaccines in order to teach. You're going to have to be vaccinated to teach. That didn't go too far. We're going to continue to hear stories like that from small businesses as well, who want to fight back against the harsher mandates in the bigger cities.
Right. And we're now finding out here in Nevada that our governor is not too happy with the fact that less than half of the government employees have been vaccinated, as well as some of his own staff. And then now he's having discussions of wanting to do K through 12 vaccine mandate without the FDA's approval by January of 2022. And it's just in time for winter break. So that way you don't have to worry about calling in sick or your kids missing any school. You'll just have to worry about feeling lousy while you're on vacation. So this is going to be interesting once our governor makes this announcement, but it's coming and it's coming quick.
All right. Stay with us, panel. Amy Tarkanian, Tom Borelli, Dino Scaros. More to get to on the other side of the break.